filling up rather nicely here. A bit of a scramble for cover. There isn't an awful lot here. Most of those guys look rather dry, don't they? So it is the haves against the have-nots at Hague Avenue tonight. There are the Southport boys. Last-minute instructions from John Coleman and Jimmy Bell there at the tactics board. And there is the Forest Green dressing room. Lee Hughes, as always, since his signing in January, at the centre of it. Points at stake at both ends of the table. It's coming up next on BT Sport.
Okay, mate, you can go whenever you want. Just raise the line now.
We're at the seaside tonight in Southport for a game in the Skrill Premier that means an awful lot at top and bottom. Southport fighting for their lives in non-league's top flight. Forest Green, the pre-season title favourites, who've been on something of a roller coaster season, still in with a fighting chance of finishing in those end-of-season playoffs and the lottery that can end up at Wembley Stadium. And then, of course, in the Football League. It's a fascinating fight for the top five. And this match might just give us another clue as to the realistic contenders. The rain is still falling heavily. And Southport have made this a very difficult place to come. In fact, John Coleman has named an unchanged team in the last 3 games. They're unbeaten in those 3. He is forced into just 1 change tonight. Vinnie McKendy, who joined last month, the former Macclesfield Town striker, gets a start alongside top scorer Danny Hattersley. That because Jason Walker is ineligible because he's on loan from Forest Green. They themselves make 3 changes to the team that failed to score last time out at home to Welling. Bangura, one of Watford, is one to come in, and so too, as the boys have mentioned, is Luke Rogers, who has been this course before. He includes New York Red Bulls and Shrewsbury Town as his former clubs, where he won the conference playoff final. Danny Hattersley is Southport's top scorer, 12 goals this season, 6 of them have come in his last 11 games, still only 21 years of age. The former Stockport striker, plenty are paying attention to him at the moment. At the other end of the age scale, a former Premier League player, one who once went for £5 million, Lee Hughes, who, as you can see, has already scored 6 times since his move from Notts County to Forest Green Rovers.
Well, Southport will be coming in tonight's game with the confidence of their home form at the minute, being very, very strong, but they'll know George and Celia, the 2 centre-halves, will be in for a tough game tonight against Hughes, and the new signing Luke Rogers, who I feel will be a benefit for him with the pace that he could use to run off Hughes, and it just gives the opportunity for Hughes to hold up the ball. As I say, we're in for 2 good teams on good form at the minute.
Well, the stakes couldn't be higher, because if Southport win, they will have a 7-point cushion between themselves and the bottom 4. If Forest Green are able to win tonight, they would go up 5 places in the Skrill Premier table and into those playoff positions. So much at stake. 2 teams in good form and 2 teams desperate for a positive result for very different reasons. 2 teams who met as recently as last month. Forest Green were 3-1 winners at the New Lawn. And none of the goal scorers from that night are featuring this evening. Kellen Daly on loan from Blackburn with the throw for Southport. Cleared by Bangura for Forest Green. That isn't going to reach Hughes. So Adam Virgo. This is intriguing for very different reasons, these 2 clubs.
Certainly is, Steve, tonight. So I look at Southport, so good at home at the minute. Cambridge have come here and not come away with anything, and Forest Green will know they'll be in with a game. But it's the front 3 of Norwood, Rogers and Hughes for me that could cause problems for Southport tonight.
Here's Fitzpatrick. Very nearly found a way way through. Al Bangura was in the way. It was a strong challenge, but a little too strong from Luke George.
That's good to see. As a centre-half on the halfway line, George, you know you can make a challenge and not get away with getting a yellow card. It's just a little message to Luke Rodgers to know that he's going to be in a game tonight, and it's good to see that he's getting tight to him early doors.
His first start for Forest Green tonight, Luke Rodgers. After 4 previous substitute appearances. No problem with the experience levels up top for Forest Green. Here he is. Going to wriggle away from the challenge of Celia. Bangura. Still only 32 years of age, you know, Luke Rodgers. He seems to have been around forever. As recently as 2011, he was partnering Thierry Henry in the MLS for New York Red Bulls. Scored 9 goals for them as well in America. His most recent journey has been to Sweden, from where he left to come back to England and Forest Green Rovers.
I've played against him a few times. He was at Yeovil and Shrewsbury at the time, and I think it's a great signing for them at this particular stage of the season, because you know he's got goals and plenty of experience as well.
Southport trying to break. Another one of their on-loan players, John O'Sullivan from Blackburn. Hattersley couldn't bring it under control. Norwood. Oh, they lost that momentarily, George. And Celia, you can see the surface water there. It's going to be a tricky old night, particularly for goalkeepers, one would suspect.
That's what you want early is shots. There's a bit of wind coming there as well, going from left to right. So goalkeepers will have to be on their toes early doors, but I think the rain's come at the right time as well, because it was a little bit dry, as Mark Crichton was saying in the pre-match game, and that definitely helps the players to pass the ball a little bit more.
Closing down by Letcham. Here's O'Sullivan. John Coleman has very good contacts in the game, vastly experienced. He does use the low market extremely well. The 2 players down the right-hand side for Southport know each other well because they are Blackburn teammates. They're both on loan from Gary Bowyer's team. Getting vital experience and match minutes and trying to help Southport stay in the Skrill Premier in the process. Stokes. Chris Stokes again. Patient build-up. Paul Green takes over. Early test for the Southport goalkeeper, Danny Hurst.
That was a poor delivery there from Green in the end, but it's good link-up play early from Hughes and Rodgers. Rodgers comes short, and they're just passing it with a bit of purpose. And that's what you need on this nights like tonight. Pass the ball early and with purpose, and it'll get around quicker, and it'll be harder to mark against.
Fitzpatrick's throw for Southport. McKendy trying to win it in the air. Hattersley was beaten to it by Ashodi. Huge clearance from Sam Russell, the Forest Green Rovers goalkeeper. Picked up by Scott Brown, the Southport skipper, a vital cog in their team in the centre of that midfield. Here's O'Sullivan up against Stokes. Support from Daly. 2 Blackburn youngsters in tandem once more down the Southport right. Still Daly. Brown takes over. Cut out by Bangura. And cleared by Green. Opportunity now for Norwood. Fitzpatrick staying all the way. It's been an open beginning.
So it certainly has, and both teams are trying to look to play, but there's pace on both teams as well, and they're trying to use that to their advantage. I just saw then Ledsham is getting between Bangura and Barry, just between the Forest Green and the midfield and centre halves, and they're good positions to take up, especially in this league, because it can get them on the half turn, which also enables a shot and get balls out wide early. And if he keeps doing that, it could cause Forest Green problems tonight.
Celia, as the boys were mentioning, arrived in January from Vietnam. Here's Hattersley, just wanted a fraction too long. Might be a shooting opportunity for O'Sullivan. And that was deflected along the way. And that is the first corner of the game, which goes Southport's way.
Well, it was Hattersley there, he got in a good position, he got goal side of Stokes. And it just opened up, I think it was Racine who had the final touch. So Southport just slowly coming into the game now.
Well, he really has lifted Southport spirits, John Coleman, since his arrival in early December. Now looking for a 5th consecutive home league win tonight. Be a big one against Forest Green. That's cleared by Hughes. O'Sullivan. Brown's delivery was asking a question. Safely gathered by Russell.
That's a good take there from Russell. So he just wants an early catch. Comes out in a crowd of players and takes it well. I thought he maybe would have put Rogers in with a quick kick, but that shows how well Southport have come back into the game, just slowing it down a little bit to give his players a little bit of rest and squeezing up the pitch.
Stokes. That's a nicely weighted pass into the path of Norwood. And across came Celia. And Forest Green have their first corner now.
A good tackle there from Celia, but it's Norwood, so he's been playing on the right hand side. But that's the freedom that AD Pennick gives him. He can also come on the left, and as a defender that's sometimes difficult to do. Just trying to, you get used to marking a player and then another one comes across. It just changes the dynamic a little bit.
Anthony Barry, the skipper, to deliver the corner. It was a teasing one, it still isn't cleared either. A couple of nervous seconds there for Southport, back in by Barry. And then the header, which came in for Racine, was one he couldn't keep down.
And he does that well, Lee Hughes. He makes that run across the near post. And it's Anthony Barry that keeps it going. And Racine, he just gets a little bit underneath it. Gets between two Southport defenders. That's a difficult header from that range to try and get it down to test the goalkeeper. It was a great ball in from Anthony Barry. They're hitting it with plenty of pace.
The rain continues to drive down. Torrential now. As you say, both teams so far have tried to play football.
They certainly have, and they've got players in the team, Barry and Bangura for Forest Green, Ledgeham and Brown, who can dictate games, especially in the conference here, and they try to get it down regardless of the weather. But they're also using the pace as well, especially Forest Green with Norwood on the wings. They're trying to use that very, very well.
McKendy. Giant figure, the 22-year-old. O'Sullivan, he's seen plenty of the ball in the opening exchanges for Southport. Where's he going here?
Well done.
And he's winning, or potentially winning a corner, but didn't clip off the full-back in the end. 20-year-old, Republic of Ireland, the 21 international. Well, Lady Panic telling me earlier on that if you told him back in November when he took charge and succeeded Dave Hockaday that at this stage they'd had a chance of the playoffs, he would have taken it. Match number 25 for him tonight. 12 wins, 7 draws, only 5 defeats.
He's done remarkably well when he come in. It's sometimes, you know, you take over a team of egos and they're difficult sometimes to remove, but he's done so well to get the players playing and getting wins.
Hughes wins it back. Barry. Bangura. In from Green. Towering header from George. Chris Stokes with the throw. Rogers trying to turn away from Celia, failing to do so from the Congolese player. McKendy.
just thinking at the minute, especially the Southport fullbacks, when the ball gets played out wide to Green, etc. I think they're just giving them a little bit too much time, and it gives them opportunities to put balls in under no pressure whatsoever, and they've done it once or twice now. So in the next couple of minutes, they really need to try and just get a little bit tighter.
McKendy. Forward from Daly. McKendy again was the option for Southport. Racine sticking closely to him. McKendy filling in tonight because Jason Walker on loan from Forest Green can't play. McKendy was able to get to that. Little hesitation from the visitors.
Racine's one of these unpredictable players, very tall. So he's very good on the diagonals when they get played into him. He's got a good touch on him, and that's what he'll need tonight, especially with the wind. He'll need to use his physical presence up front to try and help his team get up the pitch.
Began at Macclesfield Town, where he was part of the squad relegated into the conference from the Football League. That was flicked on by Hattersley, headed away by Racine. Bangura's clearance at his own player, and it could be alive for Southport. O'Sullivan. Stokes holding him up. O'Sullivan still got the cross in. Hattersley had the shot. He was appealing for hands. All he gets is a corner.
I think that's all he'll get. It's a tough decision to give handball there. As O'Sullivan again is causing problems down that right-hand side. And it's Racine who just makes a timely block. And Hattersley got a good shot off first time, but it was a timely challenge there from Racine. So again, it's O'Sullivan causing the problems down the right-hand side with his pace.
Well, Danny Hattersley is being asked by the referee to get some treatment because there's blood pouring from his nose. So rather frustratingly for Southport, he won't be in the penalty area for this corner, which John O'Sullivan is going to deliver. And that had already gone out of play.
He's got it crossed in there. It's difficult because it's taken a deflection off Racine. It has gone onto his hand, but I don't think it's deliberate handball. I say it has hit his hand, but I don't think there's anything that Racine could have done to get out of the way, so that was a good decision there.
Celia. Forward by Ledsham. And foul by the aforementioned Racine. And former Southampton Academy player who followed Dave Hockaday from Southampton to Forest Green.
So a good battle between Racine and McKendy up front tonight. They've shown already that they're up for a physical battle, the pair of them, and that's what Southport need to do, is quality into him to try and get their own players up the pitch as well.
Fitzpatrick with a free kick. It's an inviting one, and it came quickly at the top scorer Hattersley. Back on the pitch, very nearly back in the action straight away.
I think he just lost sight of it. It was a ball hit with plenty of pace, and he's definitely onside. I think it's Ledsham that maybe just got a cross in, that maybe had taken it off his eye line.
He arrived in the summer of last year from Stockport County after their relegation from the conference. He knows what that feeling is like. He doesn't want to experience it again with Southport 12 months on. And Hughes penalised on that occasion. And that's just how difficult the conditions are. He's been hammering it down since about 2 hours before kick-off here.
Yeah, it certainly makes a difference to the players. So I think for Forest Green it's to their advantage because they got the wind going with them, but second half it's going to be a lot difficult with the rain in their face. I think at the minute they just need to get Lee Hughes in the game a little bit more. He's a player that needs to, quality into him, and just at the minute they just have not found that over the last 5 minutes, and that's where you lose quality from the team because a lot of it is played around him.
Southport throw. David Fitzpatrick played every minute of the games this season at the left back. The Southport throw, headed back by Racine. Here's Fitzpatrick once more. Well, some good news potentially for Forest Green supporters. In the other game being played tonight, Nuneaton are now 2 down at Braintree. Holman has got that second one, adding to an earlier strike from a Street own goal. Put Braintree in front. So Nuneaton, who started the evening in 5th position, trailing by 2-0. And a reminder, that is exactly where Forest Green could end up tonight, in the top 5. If Nuneaton were to lose and they were to win this game, could be a big swing in the Skrill Premier table. It's at that stage of the season where each and every match is pivotal. Nuneaton, of course, have lost their manager, Kevin Wilkin, to Wrexham. He left them in a playoff spot. Remarkable position for them. Here's Green for Forest Green. Hughes onside. It's lifted in towards Rogers, the goalkeeper and the defender on a different wavelength. Rogers clipped it in, Fitzpatrick headed it away, and Southport survive.
Hurst needs to be braver and bigger when he comes and claims it. Runs into his own player in Celia. I think Rogers makes the wrong decision. I think he needs to go for goal. The goalkeeper out of position, but tries to put Hughes in. Southport manages to clear it there.
Here's Stokes. Barry. Just wanted too much time there, Anthony Barry, and Brown nipped in for Southport. Hattersley. Now O'Sullivan. Oh, he got his head up and he was trying to find Hattersley once more.
Just getting the better of Stokes at the minute. Stokes just giving him a little bit too much time, and when you're worried about players' pace, you just tend to drop off a little bit, and O'Sullivan's got the beating of him at the minute.
Just 1 defeat in the last 7, 2 in the last 9 for Forest Green. They are the division's 3rd top scorers as well, 70 goals they found this season, and of course they've added the talents, or potential talents, of that man closing down there, Luke Rogers, to the ranks.
It's always good that, you know, Eddie Pennant went out and got Lee Hughes in January, and, you know, to sign Luke Rogers at this stage of the season will always be good.
That was a little late from David Fitzpatrick, the Southport left back, on Norwood. And it's the first yellow card of the evening.
Just a little bit late. It's just the pace of Norwood. He likes the ball into him first time, and it's his first touch that takes it away. He does that so well. His first touch puts him into a position where he can run onto the ball. So he's just got to be careful now. A long time to go, Mark and Norwood's.
Norwood lifts that in. Rogers trying to get a touch, and Celia there first for Southport. Green. Hattersley back helping out, and safely gathered by Danny Hurst.
Once again down the right-hand side of Southport, Daly's just get caught out of position a little bit. Just allow Green again, just more time to put a ball into the box. I'm sure they defend well this time.
Green rolled into Rogers. Hughes takes over. So much experience between those two. James Norwood, last season's top scorer. Bangura, and he played in the Premier League as well. He's overhit that one though.
I think that's just the quality in the final third at the minute. It really sums up how Forest Green have started the game in the final third.
This was the miscommunication, Adam.
I think the conditions makes a little bit of a difference, but keeper needs to be doing better there, and I just think Rodgers in that situation just needs to be selfish and go for goal instead of putting his own strike partner Hughes in.
Seven clean sheets Danny Hurst has kept in the 38 games for Southport this season. Who are on the attack here? Asawi. 3 in the penalty area. Just behind the first 2, Brown and McKendy. I do get the feeling either team could break with some purpose here.
Southport just playing a little bit of a high line at the minute. Could quite easily get caught with the pace of Nord and Rodgers especially. And they've got the wing going with, especially the conditions as well. The ball zips off so quickly. Just a couple of times they've got it caught underneath it and it's just zipped past them.
It's the ultimate test. A very wet Thursday night in Southport. Can they get something from this game, Forest Green, to continue their playoff challenge? Is that a high foot by Rodgers? The referee didn't think so. No real protest from Celia, in fairness. He should be comfortable for Ashodi. I didn't think it was possible, Adam. I think the rain has actually got stronger.
It's certainly picked up over the last 5 minutes. I just haven't tested the keepers enough for me in open play shots. And the quality of crosses in, apart from the one from Southport. I think both managers will be expecting a little bit more in the final third from their front men, because there is goals in both teams, as we spoke about before the game.
Daly has been forced back here. Good pressing from Rodgers.
As a defender and as a team, you just love seeing your centre forwards just closing play down and really working hard and, you know, making the opposition make a mistake, as Rodgers just did then.
Hattersley trying to do just that. Shoddy for Forest Green. It's turned into a good ball. Hughes got goal side. Oh, and it very nearly crept in as well. It was mishit, in all honesty, from Lee Hughes. But it almost deceived Danny Hurst.
Well, it's his movement there. He gets between full-back and the centre-half, George. And it's a brilliant touch from him, and he's just trying to dink it over Hurst. So difficult from that range to hit it with pace. But he's so clever to think outside the box to try and chip the keeper there. Just so you give him a chance, he'd always take it.
202 goals in 464 games in the Football League. Lee Hughes, he has been at this level before, way back in the 96-97 season, when he helped Kidderminster to finish second. His hometown club, 37 years of age now, but I tell you something, Adam, he still looks fit, he still looks sharp.
Certainly does, and he's clever, and the position he took up there between centre-back and full-back as well, you never lose that.
Southport free kick, good touch from Bangura, almost came to McKendy, who then scooped it on the floor, and finally gathered by Russell. I think the flag was up anyway.
So I think it was going to be offside there anyway. But again, I don't think Forest Green had defended this so well. It's Bangura. And two players, Hattersley and Celia, are both offside there.
7 goal attempts so far in the opening 25 minutes. Three of them on target. Here's Rodgers. It's overhit by Turley.
Ball from Turley. When you got time to put a delivery into the box and you hit it over the bar like that, it's just, as a forward, you get quite frustrated. But it's the first time that they've held the ball up properly, and when you hold the ball up, it just enables your fullbacks to get forward, and Turley and Stokes like to do that. But the qualities into the front two needs to be better for them to really push up the pitch.
Southport fighting for their lives. It's their 4th season back in the conference, and 14th season in all at this level. Remember, from 1921 to 1978, this was a Football League club, one with great history and tradition.
It certainly has, but this has been a fortress for them this season here, but just away from home. So they only win against Hyde, and fighting relegation, you need to try and just pick up some points on the road. Luckily their home form, especially beating the bigger teams, has really helped them in the position they are at the minute, but tonight would be a massive win if they can get 3 points.
That's a Forest Green free kick.
So it's Norwood again, he's just always in the thick of action. Wins his team another free kick, which he does well.
Plenty of bodies in that penalty area. Lifted in at pace by Stokes. That came off a Southport head. It's a Forest Green corner.
It's definitely a left footer there to whip that in, and that was Stokes. George just defends it well out for a corner. Just need a little bit more height on it. It was defended well there by Southport.
Anthony Barry, twice the winner of this league, with the corner for Forest Green. And O'Sullivan, who put his head to it. Another corner to the visitors.
They're always horrible, those ones, because it goes so high in the air and you just pray it goes over the bar and not go under it. But again, it just not quite got the quality of delivery into the box, just not beating the first man.
Chris Stokes to deliver this one with that left foot. There's the flick at the near post. Headed away by Hattersley. Is there a Southport break on? Terrific strength by Ashodi. Hughes wanted it at the back post. It didn't reach him. Now O'Sullivan being chased by Green. Really positive run by O'Sullivan. Hattersley was barking for it in the centre. Now Barry. Norwood went one way and the ball went the other, and Southport had it back. McKendy. That was ambitious.
It certainly was from McKendy there, but just on the counter-attack then, Ledsham was in behind. If they'd have seen him early, could have been in. Just got to always stay switched on the counter-attack. Southport have got players that can really hurt you.
John Coleman, as we were discussing earlier on, has been the course that Forest Green are looking for. We had 2 promotions in the 12.5 years with Accrington Stanley, including the conference title in the 2005-06 season. His 18th game in charge of Southport since he and his trusted assistant Jimmy Bell succeeded Alan Wright. They've won 5 and lost 6 so far. Nothing he doesn't know about this league. McKendy, good block by Ashodi. Daly forward from right back, useful and inviting cross. Good defending by Racine. Long from Stokes. Weakly gathered by Danny Hurst in the Southport goal. Let's get a word with the Southport manager, John Coleman, with Clem.
Going to mention conditions, John. It's pretty slippy out there. Anything could happen.
I think both teams are starting to play though. Everything starting to get the ball down and pass it. But as you said, it is slippy. But I think it's going to make for an entertaining game if it keeps going like this.
You're a threat, you guys, aren't you, when you go forward?
Yeah, unfortunately we're just not holding the ball up well enough in the final third, and it's probably not letting us get more support up to them. And we'll speak about that at half time.
Thank you very much. I might stay here and just wipe the moisture from my head. There we go. That's better.
It's another Southport throw. Kendi's flick. Hattersley. That didn't reach Osawi. No chances taken on Luke George. O'Sullivan. Daly. Patient possession from Southport. Ledsham. Osawi hasn't really been able to get into this game as yet. Taking on Turley. Almost winning the corner. Cleared in the end by Norwood, and that is one for Rogers to chase. Hurst was quickly out of his goal.
I think when O'Sullivan just comes in off the line, he just needs his centre forwards to show themselves a little bit earlier than what they're doing.
Well, a reminder of the live football coming away on BT Sport from midday from the Barclays Premier League. David Moyes will hope Manchester United's week can get better when you can see their home game against Aston Villa live and in HD. The next offering from the Skill Premier, Saturday date for you from Kenilworth Road, 12:15 on the 12th as Luton entertain Braintree. And also on Good Friday from 2:30 from the Skrill Premier. You can see a big clash in terms of the end of season playoffs. Alfreton at home to Grimsby. You can watch them all via the BT Sport app, and of course all the details via the website at btsport.com. Another set play opportunity here for Forest Green. Barry's free kick, lifted in towards a shoddy. Racine almost got his head to it. Back in from Norwood, away by Fitzpatrick. Good strength then from Brown. Stokes came across. It's a poor back pass though. It's O'Sullivan. Will Forest Green be punished? They're rescued by Sam Russell, their goalkeeper, to keep it at 0-0 to deny John O'Sullivan.
There's a sloppy pass back. When you need your keeper to make a big save at the big times in the games, so Sullivan, he does everything right. Just a little bit too close to the keeper.
Oh, and he's in action again, down to his left-hand side. And he gathered that one cleanly as well, the former Darlington goalkeeper.
That could even be a better save, that one, because it was a lot closer. And he managed to get a clean strike on goal. But that's what you want from your goalkeeper, big times in the game. They get away with it. That's a brilliant save, because it comes through two bodies as well of Banguren and Hughes, and he gets down low for a big man, but that's what you want as a defender. Your keeper's making big saves at big times of the game.
It was Ancilia. Ancilia who had that shot, the man who arrived via Vietnam in January to Southport. Here come Forest Green now, trying to muster something themselves at the other end. Away by Fitzpatrick. Well, the boys picked him out beforehand. And Celia, who has actually had a spell with John Coleman earlier in his career at Accrington, he was on Everton's books. He was an unused substitute in the Premier League for Everton twice under David Moyes. He's still only 22 years of age.
Certainly a presence for Southport, and he's been very consistent this season with his performances, and Mark Crichton picked him out at the beginning of the game as someone who's important for their relegation survival hopes.
Here's Norwood. Looks to be overhit. It's been kept in though. It's Rogers. Good block by George. And the flag has gone up on the far side.
That man Luke Rogers again. Look, he's just always looking for scraps, and he does that well. take nothing away from the defending from George. He just throws his body in front to stop the shot going through to his keeper.
Forest Green have kept 11 clean sheets so far this season. Both of these teams have them intact at the moment. Forward by Fitzpatrick, cut out by Turley, who's now out of position as Southport regain possession. The ball is beginning to hold up as well out there. Tonight we've got to be very, very sure with your passing.
So the conditions, you know, they are affecting the game a lot, and you realise that it is so difficult for players, and if you can see on your tellies at home that it's very windy, and also as well it's just starting to create a few little puddles onto the pitch, and it's so difficult to pass on as well. As you saw with the pass back, it just gets caught short, so you just got to be careful with everything you do. Just be safe, clear your lines, let's also get shots on goal.
Yes, I do feel that in these conditions both goalkeepers have got away lightly so far.
I think that's the thing that's just missing at the minute. I know Southport had a couple of shots, but they were mainly from mistakes and set plays, but haven't really had anything from 18, 20 yards out, really testing both keepers yet.
Kennedy's flick. Here he is again. Long-legged striker. Taking on Racine and not getting any change out of him again. Hughes on the spin. Last again alive to the situation, the Southport goalkeeper, who's now off his line. And that was an attempt to try and catch him out.
I think if he was on his right foot, he maybe would have tested Hurst a little bit more, but it's just the awareness of a striker like that. So he's scored so many goals this season, and it just fell when he was off his line, Hurst, but he was never going to reach with his left foot. But also, that's what you want from your keeper. Ball over the top, Hughes running onto it, and you just want your keeper playing as a sweeper in these conditions tonight, because you know the ball's going to go through to you. So it doesn't surprise me that, you know, Southport, the possession stats as they are.
Norwood, Bangura, couldn't find Rogers.
I just don't think Forest Green have just kept the ball well enough when they've had opportunities. Ball's been played up to the front three without any real quality. Not really passed it. Barry and Bangura, especially those two in midfield, they're good passers, they're good midfielders. And just at the minute, they just haven't quite got themselves in the game enough.
That's a foul on Carl Ledsham. Longest serving player in the Southport team. They didn't like this challenge.
So he just gets a flaying hand from Bangura in the face.
Just a warning for Al Bangura, who played in the Premier League for Watford under A.D. Boothroyd. From Sierra Leone. His third season at the club now. He had spells in Turkey and Azerbaijan before returning to England.
So with Barry and Bangura as well, just sometimes you get opportunities in the game. You might need 3 or 4 touches to really make an impact. Just the quality of passing at the minute has just not been quite good enough for the players that they are.
Here's O'Sullivan. Lifted in by Fitzpatrick. Hopeful from Bangura. Chances taken in these conditions by Danny Hurst. Inside the final 4 minutes or so of this first half. Southport have only been beaten once in their last 6 games. Forest Green once in their last 7. Neither have been able to force a way through so far.
I think that's down to the conditions to a certain part of the game, but as well, the players need to compose themselves a little bit more on the ball. Adi
Pennick looking for a birthday present today. Many happy returns to Adi Pennick. He is 43 today, the Forest Green manager. 3 points which could lift his team into the top 5 this evening.
So that'd be a nice birthday present for him if he can get 3 points.
Ledson. Kendi. Played comfortably there by Jamie Turley. And Celia. Well, it is a battle in all senses of the word out there at the moment.
It certainly is, and concentration now is key to get through to half-time for both teams. So it'll be a difficult second half because I don't see this weather clearing up at the minute.
That's one of the safest predictions you've made this evening. Bangura. Fitzpatrick's throw for Southport. Hattersley felt he was impeded there. The referee, Adrian Holmes, delivered a slightly different assessment. Here's Daly, 19 years of age. His 10th appearance on loan from Blackburn. And Celia looks very calm and assured at the heart of the Southport defence. Headed back by Bangura. O'Sullivan chasing. Well watched by Stokes. Good pressing from Brown. Solid clearance from Russell.
That's better from Brown there when the ball was played up. Put pressure on players, and it ended up keeping in their own half, and it needs to be doing that more second half.
That's a nicely deflated ball from Bangura, and it was handball by Norwood.
Just held up a little bit, and he got the right side of Fitzpatrick, but just couldn't quite get it down quick enough, and ref pulled him up for handball. But so he's definitely got the goal side of Fitzpatrick. But they need to get him more into the game second half, I feel.
Time to add on at the end of this goalless first half in Southport. Green and Celio was committed. There's a little bit of common sense, I think, here, is there?
I don't think the Forest Green players are helping. They're trying to get the referee to make a decision. So he commits into the challenge, does well, but I think he just overruns it a little bit. He's always chasing. I think he just loses his footing a little bit, but then he does slide in late on Green. I think that's good refereeing, especially the time of the game, 46 minutes. I think that's clever play, especially with the conditions tonight. I think sometimes you have to allow that mistakes are going to be made.
Sensibility.
Exactly. Don't ask me to spell it.
Could be a half-time challenge, as that's lifted forward by Russell. Green dispossessed, and that is the last action of the goalless first half. The best chance has fallen to John O'Sullivan, the on-loan Blackburn midfield player for Southport, denied though by Sam Russell with an excellent stop in the Forest Green goal. That keeps the scoreline at 0-0 on this very important night at the top and bottom of the Skrill Premier. Remember, Southport looking to win for the 5th league game in a row at home. But at the moment, it is all square. The thoughts of Mark Crichton and James Beattie to come at the break. It is Southport 0, Forest Green 0.
Welcome back to Monsoon Southport. Tomorrow, though, on where are we? ESPN. Sorry, my script has gone rather papier-mâché like in the torrential conditions. It's Nice against Paris Saint-Germain in the French League. Then on Saturday, 7:30, Serie A, AC Milan against Chievo, BT Sport 1. And then the European Football Show going to have Napoli against Juventus, 6:30, BT Sport 1 on Sunday. There is the Southport dressing room. I think one or two of those boys will be putting on dry shirts, if such a thing exists on lowly resources. I'm sure that Forest Green Rovers can manage a spare shirt or two. Got a bit of a shock there with that. That is how it is out there on the pitch in certain areas. We have come to the sanctity of the technical area there, and there they are. Well, that's a very expensive poncho. He got it from Sea Life or somewhere like that, I believe.
SeaWorld, I think.
SeaWorld is what I'm looking for.
When he was watching Shane.
It's pretty awful out there. There's no doubt about it. Which could have a physical effect and may also be having a psychological effect, because players will not want to do a boo-boo at this time of the season.
Yeah, I think that both teams started off and they wanted to play football on the grass, but now, as you've seen the pitch, there's standing water on there. So I think both teams, or both managers in there, will be maybe changing the tactics, maybe get it up early, because there is standing water in the middle. If you mistime a pass or put it in a puddle, it sticks, then you put yourself susceptible to a counter-attack.
Yeah, it's now becoming a game of mistakes, isn't it? And we saw one first half with an under-hit back pass. At the time, I didn't think Sam Russell had a particularly good starting position and didn't look on his toes and on his front foot. But you know, the ball has held up, and we'll see the replay in a minute. And like I say, there's going to be mistakes, and Lee Hughes has had a good chance first half.
Well, let's have a little look at this then, because it was a good chance for him, wasn't it? And doing what a striker does, James Beattie.
Yeah, he's so intelligent, his runs, and at this level, he scored goals at whatever level he's played at, but at this level, I would expect him to get 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 good chances a game.
And as a manager, you would encourage your centre forward to take, shoot on sight in conditions like this?
Yeah, shoot on sight. It was a great run by Hughesy there. I thought his touch took him away a little bit, but then just as he was about to strike it, it took a little bobble. But you could see his intention. His intention was to chip the keeper.
It was the only way he could have scored as well from the situation, and unfortunately the keeper's read it as well.
But now, as you say, with the conditions, shoot on sight and make sure your other strikers, fellow strikers.
What about this one? Because this was this
is the back pass I'm talking about. He's done well. He's kept running. Maybe if the 15 there busts a gut and gets alongside him, he can square it to him. But you're going to say a striker should shoot there.
He's never going to square that. You see the 15's miles behind him. To be fair, he does well, and I think the keeper does well, to be honest. He stands up, but in all honesty, he should be scoring there. He knows it himself, look.
To be continued in these conditions. It is Southport 0, it is Forest Green Rovers 0. The rain is torrential. Our crew are very, very wet. Those boys are just getting themselves adjusted and dried out and ready to face the onslaught again. Work for Adi Pennock, who knows that Braintree are winning 2-0 against Nuneaton. Nuneaton, of course, in that last playoff place at the moment. Back with us in a few minutes' time after we've had a little wipe down with a dry towel. We'll see you then. Coming up after us on BT Sport, Life's a Pitch, the former England footballer and manager Stuart Pearce, who's just turned down the Nottingham Forest job, will be Des Kelly's special guest. He'll also be joined by comedian Paul Sinha and Spurs goalkeeper Brad Friedel to look ahead to the weekend's action. There'll be a feature on Football Chants, and Embrace will be performing live in the studio. The shots you're seeing are our temporary gantry at Hague Avenue. Now, Steve Bauer, that to me doesn't look waterproof. Oh, there they are, look, dressed up to the nines, and oh, it looks very wet in there as we go inside or stay somewhere nice and dry and warm.
That's what's left of my notes, paper mache, but we will try and decipher the players for you in the second half as we see Southport come out for the second 45 minutes. The team that have upset so many of the top teams here this season. In fact, the table at the beginning of the week, all of the top 5 had been here and been beaten, and a team hoping to get into the top 5 tonight are still goalless with them.
So your home form is always important when you're going for relegation and you're picking up points, but beating Luton and Cambridge along the way as Barnet, they're huge results, and another one tonight will definitely help them, but it's a huge game for both teams tonight.
The wind continues to blow, the rain continues to fall, but will there be a breakthrough for what would be a huge 3 points for one of these two teams? There have only been 6 games all season that Forest Green have not scored in. Remember, the third top scorers in the division with 70 goals so far. Amazingly, at this stage of the season, in the exact same points that they were 12 months ago, where for the second season running they finished in 10th position. But they're aiming higher after this very consistent run recently under Adi Pennock, and that's how much the surface water is beginning to become a problem.
Just saw the groundsman on during the half-time interval, and they're just trying to fork it as much as possible, so that's going to make a difference to Forest Green when they try and pass it on that side of the pitch. They really will need to punch it through those puddles.
So it is Forest Green, who have actually only won 4 away games all season to get us underway in the second half. Southport themselves beaten in only 4 home games this season. Nothing between them at the moment, no changes from either side. At half-time, we should point out that Southport have two potential debutants amongst their substitutes. Emmanuel Monte, who is a teenager on loan from Queen's Park Rangers, and Marcel Henry Francis, a young striker who has recently been released by Birmingham. They're both available to John Coleman later on in this second half. That was a foul on Hattersley.
Rossini just gets a little bit too tight. You have to see any contact will go down. It's good centre forward play. Puts in an area now where Southport can really pose some danger.
Danny Hattersley has a new shirt without name and number in the second half. Can the top scorer profit from this situation? Lifted in, Bangura got the touch, Green beaten to it, almost fell to Encilia. Terrific strength from Brown, the captain.
He does that well, Brown. He just breaks up play very, very well, and also he works well off second balls for his team to try and win them and get control of play. And that's what I was saying, first half, he didn't start well and doing that, but then the more the game went on, he got into it, got used to the conditions. And that's what you want from your midfielders there, chasing Norwood back and winning possession back for his team.
Bangura to the lift that towards Rogers. Now Ledson for Southport. Asawi. McKendy in the penalty area. And he couldn't get it back to him though. O'Sullivan.
Asawi gets one-on-one with Turlian. So Sullivan at the far post making a late run, and you just want to head that back across for his two forwards, and just gets caught underneath a little bit. Skids off his head for a goal kick.
Norwood. From Ashodi. Watched all the way by Fitzpatrick. Here's Hattersley. Hit long by Asawi, only straight to Chris Stokes. O'Sullivan, who's looked right down the Southport right, and he's got the cross in here. Oh, what a header! Carl Ledson to break the deadlock with his 7th of the season inside 4 minutes of the second half. And it's the team near the bottom who leads.
Well, it's all about O'Sullivan again on the right-hand side. He just runs, takes it to the byline. And it's Ledsham, comes in late and just attacks it so well. It's a great cross. He just hangs it up beautifully there to attack. Russell in goal will have no chance to keep that out of the net. That's the balls you want as a midfielder. Look at that, he rises early, hits it at the highest point. Plenty of power there. What a great header that was from him.
Southport's longest serving player, Carl Ledson, the 26-year-old. Goal number 7 of the season. To break the deadlock here. The perfect start to the second half for John Coleman's team. Showed great desire there, didn't he?
The technique, the desire, everything was great about the header.
He arrived under Liam Watson from Skelmersdale United back in November 2010. And he's been on the Southport roller coaster quite literally since. He's been a consistent performer in this campaign.
So he started well tonight. Just noticed just before the goal, him and Brown were just playing a little bit higher, which has enabled them to get second balls. And where they're playing higher there, just gave him that option to make that late run into the box. And again, it was O'Sullivan causing problems again. It's a great header.
Forest Green response. Southport have only lost 9 points from a winning position this season. And that's the man that's goal has made all the difference.
We can just see his run here. When he realises that O'Sullivan can put a ball into an area, it's just a perfectly timed run. You see goals like that in the Premier League with players, and it was the quality of the ball that made it so easy for him to attack it.
It was a long distance effort coming in from David Fitzpatrick, the left back, but might have moved a touch in the air as well.
Certainly did there, and it's the first time now that they've really tested the goalkeeper from sort of 20-25 yards, and the goal has definitely given the confidence for Southport to really go on and get the second goal. That's good hands there from Russell.
Turley's throw for Forest Green. The team that have scored 70 goals need one at Southport. Beaten just twice in the last 9 games. Ledson. McKendy. Neatly done by Turley. And let me tell you, Luke Rogers is absolutely furious that he didn't get the ball into feet there, edge of the penalty area.
Well, it was a good run from him. That's what he does. He just plays on the shoulders all the time, and he just rolled off in Celia, and he just makes the wrong run here. You look at Luke Rogers here. This is the shot. It's good hands.
That was the effort from Fitzpatrick, who's only ever scored once for Southport. That was earlier on in this season against Alfreton. Points in the last 9, Southport, with exactly the same team. They were forced into just that one change tonight because Jason Walker wasn't able to play. Here's Norwood with a bit of space for Forest Green. Well watched by Celia. Norwood. Defending that time by George. Hattersley. Barry. Anthony Barry once more. Given away by him. Good strength by McKendy. Then the ball out to Forest Green throw.
They just look a little bit rattled at the minute, Forest Green, and so you're looking at Barry and Bangura. They're just not getting on the ball enough, and the service into the front two of Rogers and Hughes has just not been good enough for them really to impact themselves on the game at the minute.
Here is Hughes. Looking for the early ball to pick out Norwood. Real chance for 1-1. Can you believe that? Off the crossbar. And then he couldn't react with the second header either. And Southport survive. Clearest opportunity of the night by some distance for Forest Green.
Well, what a ball from Lee Hughes that was. Just hit beautifully. All the right pace. And Norwood just gets between George and Fitzpatrick, and he does everything right, just dinks it over the keeper, and unfortunately hits the bar and just can't quite get the rebound.
16 goals in 36 games he's managed this season, James Norwood, and he's still wondering how number 17 hasn't arrived there.
Well, look at the ball from Hughes. It's exquisite. Great first touch, and he just waits for Hurst to sell himself, and he does everything right apart from score. That's what he can do in the 6 seconds.
Here's Stokes. Decent response from the visitors.
Slowly getting back into the game at the minute, but I just think AD Pennick needs a little bit more quality on the ball. They're good players, but as you've just shown there, they can hurt you when the ball's played right.
Fitzpatrick. Hattersley's onside. It's a beautifully weighted pass. Asawi. Turley got back just in the nick of time. It's a Southport throw.
Well, it's an exquisite chip. Sometimes you think a player in that situation will blast it or just try and place it past him. He lucks out, he just couldn't quite get on the rebound of the header.
Fitzpatrick's throw. McKendy's touch. Hattersley almost trying to get on the end of the second ball. Rogers is chasing that. Good defending from George.
So it's a great ball, and he knows that Rogers is on his shoulder, and when you head it back you've got to have enough pace on the ball to get back to Hurst, and he does that well.
That's good work from Rogers. Here's Norwood again. Hughes is demanding it. Norwood went alone. And Lee Hughes is a little frustrated by that.
Well, it's Luke Rogers that makes George into the mistake, and he makes the wrong decision there.
Stokes. Now Barry. Bangura. Isn't able to find Creed. Better from the visitors though. Norwood. He's been penalised.
It's the goal scorer, Bersham gets back well, nips the ball off Norwood, just loses his foot a little bit. It's a good free kick for his team, but Southport, the last 5 minutes since the goal, they've just dropped off a little bit. So difficult to keep the intensity up for so long. This is where concentration is key now. It's the quality that Forest Green have got to offer. If you switch off like Norwood, then they can really, really hurt you.
Wins from 18 home games for Southport this season. Only one on the road, and they've got their nose in front again here. It's a nicely weighted ball, just ran away from Hattersley. Right idea from Scott Brown. Rogers penalised. It's had a frustrating night really, Luke Rogers, in his full debut.
He's had half chances, had a shot in the first half which he decided to pass to Lee Hughes, but as a striker, when you don't get the service that you're looking for, especially like Rogers, who works hard off the ball, and you make runs and they don't feed you the ball quick enough, it does frustrate you sometimes. But you know, the same with Lee Hughes as well, they just haven't quite got the service into them to really play off each other.
Ledson, the goal scorer. Daly. Good feet from Hattersley. Rogers. Caught by George. Free kick to Forest Green, which is quickly taken. Norwood. Now Turley in an advanced position. Away by Luke George. Is there a Southport break on here? Fitzpatrick. He's seen the run of Hattersley. Can he get it under control here, Hattersley? That's good strength from Ashodi.
It was a good delivery there from Fitzpatrick, and Hattersley. It's just, again, this is the conditions that takes the ball away from him.
Ledson. Space again for O'Sullivan. He's gone for goal! John O'Sullivan with a terrific hit. His second goal for Southport. They both come against Forest Green, and that one has doubled their lead.
Well, he's deserved that for his all-round play tonight. It's the hold-up play of Hattersley, and he gets played out wide. I just don't think Stokes gets tight enough. May take a slight deflection, but it's nothing more than what he's deserved. And that's flown into the bottom corner. Just takes the minor touches off Stokes, but he's deserved that goal tonight for his work rate, his assist, and his all-round play.
Well, his goal last month at the New Lawn was a mere consolation in a 3-1 defeat against Forest Green. But the on-loan Blackburn midfielder has given Southport a 2-goal cushion just after the hour mark here. He sat at the first, he scored the second. Southport 2, Forest Green 0.
He's been brilliant all night. He's caused Stoke plenty of problems, his work rate as well, and he's deserved that goal. It's been a great signing since he's come in.
Here's Asawi. Ledson. Now Brown. Here's O'Sullivan again. Southport tails her up, delivered by Ledson. Very important header from Stokes.
Well, it had to be. They're just dropping off now. Forest Green has a brilliant ball into an area. It's great defending there from Stokes. Reads the danger well.
Before the corner's taken. Southport needing to give some treatment to O'Sullivan as the thunder and lightning here goes around the stadium. This was a thunderous effort.
You've been wanting to test the keeper. We've been saying that all through the game in the conditions, and he's deserved that goal tonight. It's a great strike.
Republic of Ireland under 21 international. And Forest Green have made a double change while O'Sullivan was getting that treatment. Danny Wright, the former Wrexham striker, has come on. So too has Jan Klukowski, who scored last month against Southport. Rogers and Barry are the players to depart. Here comes the Southport corner, cleared by Danny Wright. And here he is. Hughes. Norwood.
Got to be a little bit careful there, Southport, on the break. You're 2-0 up, you still need to keep your concentration, keep your shape. They were outnumbered here. So quick on the break, Forest Green, and Norwood just tries a strike across goal. Hurst had that covered.
target to the matter from Southport in the back of the net. O'Sullivan and Ledsham. Test of character for Forest Green now in their playoff challenge.
Most definitely, I say Eddie Pennick. I think he'll be disappointed with their all-round performance tonight. Just the quality on the ball in certain areas, especially into Rogers and Hughes. To take nothing away from Southport, the goals were of the highest quality. If you need a reaction from your players now to really keep your playoff hopes alive, it's right now. You need leaders and characters to really step up.
Forest Green have only 3 home games remaining. 6 of their 9 away from home, where they've only won 4 times all season. McKendy. Well, let's get a word with the Southport boss, John Coleman. McClem.
What do you say to them at half-time, John?
Well, we just said that, you know, we had to take the game to them. You know, points are no good to us at this stage of the season. We need to time in the game. Still a long way to go, but we've been a lot brighter up front. We've held the ball up better. Danny Hasseldy's improved no end. And that's been the reason why we probably took the lead.
And what about the conditions? Did you talk to them about that? Not making silly mistakes, or
yeah,
is it unavoidable
about
with
it, but it's difficult in it because, you know, as much as you tell the players that it's going to be difficult, they're still trying to play the game, and you can see it's getting a little bit sticky now. You know, hopefully the rain will go off and we won't have the thunder and lightning I've just did.
Thanks, John.
Let me tell you, in our perched position, we certainly heard it. Never seen Adam Berger move so quickly.
It did give me a little bit of a fright.
I think it did. Just had a text from one of your Brighton teammates saying you move quicker than you did in your playing career. Southport are making a change now, and they are going to introduce one of their signings today. It is going to be a debut for, on loan, Emmanuel Monte, who is only 19 years of age. He is on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. He's a left-sided player born in Cameroon, and he has replaced Danny Hattersley. We just heard John Coleman say he's improved no end, but not good enough to stay on the pitch.
Which hasn't quite been his night tonight, Hattersley. Just had 1 or 2 half chances, but then the change is inevitable that Monte comes on. It just gives a little bit of pace and something different from what Hattersley can offer you.
Shoddy. Under pressure from the aforementioned Monte, who's a huge figure for 19.
Certainly big for the age, and he'll be trying to use his presence up there to try and hold up the ball and just be physical.
He signed pro less than a year ago, and he has gone into the centre forward position. We were with the Southport manager earlier on, he said he's told us he can play up front. Well, I think this is an enforced change. One of their goal scorers, John Sullivan. This is a blow for Southport. He's limping off. He's been their outstanding player tonight, the on loan Blackburn Republic of Ireland under-21 international, Charlie Joyce. The 20-year-old is going to be his replacement. Your assessment of O'Sullivan, Adam?
Yeah, I'd say he took his goal so well, and his all-round play tonight, it's been nothing more than sensational. It was a great strike, and as a winger, he's not afraid to shoot, and he's given Stokes problems all night.
So Charlie Joyce, Liverpool-born, 20-year-old, who's had a loan spell at Colwyn Bay this season, and the Conference North is on in his place. Here's McKendy. Oh, that was deflected along the way off Racine. Big smile from the Southport striker. Southport corner.
He's just got caught under his feet a little bit, but he does so well to dig it out and try and bend it with the outside of his right boot. And it's Racine with an important block there. But it's just Southport, they're playing high up the pitch, causing problems for Forest Green.
Southport searching for the goal that would surely seal it. Scott Brown's corner off the head of Hughes. There's been no let up in the rain all evening. Full credit to both sets of players.
Just sometimes when you just don't really see how difficult the conditions are, and they've been really, really tough. There's been wind, so a bit of thunder and lightning as well, but the rain has really come down hard, and then it's kind of dried up a little bit. But again, for the quality that they've shown tonight, especially with the 2 goals with the conditions, you've got to give credit to the players as well, and also tackling. There's never really been any dangerous tackles as well.
Let's get a word with John O'Sullivan, who's with Clem now.
Well, a brilliant goal. You were beating yourself up at half-time. You had a little word with me about the one before the break, but you've done the bizzo there. What a goal.
Yeah, I said at half-time to all the boys,
What's a good
make
effort?
up for that miss. And like I did, I set up the goal, scored a goal. And unfortunately, I have a knock, but you know what I mean? I said I'd do the business.
Did you in any way exploit the conditions? Could you sense a nervousness about them?
About them?
Yeah.
No. We know every time we play at home, we attack this half, we always play our best football. We knew if we kept the clean sheet at half-time going this way and we bought out in the second half and played this way, we'd have them in the bag.
Well done, mate. You better
Cheers,
go and
mate.
sort that
Thank you.
injury.
Thank you.
Here comes the corner for Southport. Forcing a really good save out of Sam Russell there, while John O'Sullivan was talking to us.
So he's made important saves, but with the goals he stood no chance. Sometimes feel sorry for goalkeepers that you make saves that keep your teams into the game. But again, they're just allowing shots now to come in. Doesn't take any chances, parries it away well.
Well, Forest Green are in need of a source of inspiration from somewhere here.
They need to do something. I just think they've played the conditions pretty well, but as again it's in the final third, I think Southport have just shown more desire and just a little bit more quality, and I think that's been the difference between the 2 teams.
Well, Forest Green are going to make their final change. Eddie Pennick on his 43rd birthday has removed James Norwood and introduced Matt Taylor, who we saw twice recently on loan at Chester, where he scored 6 times in 7 games for Steve Burr's team. He's since returned to Forest Green, including a hat-trick for Chester against Tamworth. Right. Dispossessed comfortably by Ledsham. McKendy. More bad news for Forest Green potentially. Hibbert has pulled one back from Nuneaton in tonight's other game. Remember, they are currently in the top 5, Nuneaton, so they trail 2-1 at Braintree now. But all irrelevant unless Forest Green can find a way back into this one. Danny Wright's flick. You can see the pools of water now that have got progressively worse throughout this game, of which there is a little over 15 minutes remaining. Ashodi. Krakowski. Well, that's good work from Monte, and he could be in here, the debutant. Ashodi, who's coming back. It's all a little farcical in those areas now.
Conditions came into play for both teams there, and they just couldn't quite get away there. The puddles actually saved Forest Green.
The only concern for Southport will be as if the officials interpret this as unplayable.
This is... And the
You
officials...
have been there before this season on BT Sport in your commentating career.
I don't want to say I'm not a bad omen for many teams, but I just hope the scoreline makes a difference, that the referee just keeps it going. I think Forest Green will be on him to get this game called off. But wherever I go at the minute, I seem to bring the weather with me.
We hope it changes in the summer, if nothing else. Southport free kick. Quickly taken into or towards Brown by Fitzpatrick. Gathered by Russell.
I think Brown wanted to take it early and then didn't really communicate well, and as Fitzpatrick just asked a little bit too much of Brown to get on the end of that. I think Southport could just slow themselves down a little bit, use up the time pretty well when the ball goes out, free kicks and everything. They're 2-0 up. They'll take that all day long.
Right. Now Klikowski, scorer when these two teams met last month. Far more favourable that night for Forest Green. In by Klikowski, Ledsham's touch. Didn't come to Green. Now can McKendy get through here? Racine coming across. Still McKendy. Racine did enough.
Gets away with that, Racine. I feel that he needs to know that Kendi is there. If he doesn't, I think the weather makes a difference there, that he actually enables him to get across.
Oh, that was a huge flash of lightning. Now the thunder follows. Now, A.D. Pennock is now going across to the fourth official, trailing by 2 goals to 0. Paul Graham is his name, and asking, is that pitch playable? Are we going to carry on?
That's Andy, I was holding metal microphones. But he'll be asking for this to be called off.
Well, we have 12 minutes scheduled to go. We understand that A.D. Pennock is concerned about the flashes of lightning, which is another reason why he is talking to the fourth official about players' safety. You ever been in that situation in your playing career? Well, there's Asawi in the meantime. It's all happening tonight. Southport desperately hoping they get a conclusion to this game. Asawi's cross, palmed away by Russell. Ledsham. This is Daly forward from full-back. And that's a goal kick. So, have you ever been in danger in your playing career from lightning?
Well, one game I got called off when I was at Wickham. We played against Wickham, and the rain came down and it got called off, but never due to lightning. Only on the golf course I've always had to run in when a bit of lightning's gone off. I'm usually about 12 over par.
The man in the middle, Adrian Holmes, has no concerns at the moment. A big call from the referee, having played for 80 minutes, to say we're going off now.
0-0. You know, he could have a point of bringing the teams off at 2-0, and especially the position that Southport are in at the minute. You know, relegation beckoning. You know, for it to be called off at this stage, it'll be difficult to take for John Coleman.
Forward by Turley. Can Forest Green set up a grandstand finish? Right. Cleanly gathered by Hurst.
It's only really the real chance that they've had this half, and it's just a half chance off right. Staley with the deflection onto him, and if that's their only chance of the second half, that really shows how poor that Forest Green have been in the final thirds.
Late on Turley from Monte, the debutant. Yellow card for the on loan Queen's Park Rangers player.
Press got that right. And tackles like that are not going to help decisions as well, because the players will be thinking of their safety now. But it's a committed challenge there from Monte. You can't really ask more of that. He's trying to stop the ball going down the line, and he's just mistimed it.
Forward by Russell. Taylor. In from Stokes. Shoddy. Tracking back by Sawi. Forward by Racine. Touch from Klukowski. Minutes scheduled to play. Foul on Ledgson. They look a frustrated outfit, Forest Green, at the moment.
Because I don't think they've really got in the game tonight, even from the outset. I think AD Pennock will be thinking of the quality that they've got into their front players, which hasn't been there. They haven't really tested Hurst as well in goal. And as you see this season, their home form's been brilliant. But they've just not got the big players haven't turned up tonight. Barry, Lee Hughes as well as Rogers. You need your big players turning up at this stage of the season, and they've just not done that tonight. And at the minute, I'd say Southport thoroughly deserved their 3 points.
They've won 3 of their last 4 games against Southport. They won 2-1 here last season. But those 2 goals in quick succession in this second half have been their undoing so far this evening. These torrential conditions. Klukowski. Taylor. Shoddy. Cut out. And Celia. This is Joyce. It's a Forest Green throw. Substitute too.
I think he's just frustrated that he was trying to get in a position to get his shot off, and he gets caught in the puddle. It's just a frustration tackle there, just lunges out. I'm saying if these were the conditions at the start of the game, I think the referee would have been in a situation of not even starting it.
It's got progressively worse all evening. Yellow card for Matty Taylor. It's certainly going to dampen Forest Green's playoff spirits as it stands, but a huge injection for Southport's hopes of survival. Talking of live football, Barclays Premier League on Saturday from midday, live at Old Trafford. Can Manchester United's week get better? They're at home to Aston Villa. You will see it live on BT Sport. The next offering from the Skrill Premier is a Saturday date for your diary, April the 12th from 12:15. Luton at home to Braintree, who's still leading unequal tonight, incidentally. And then on Good Friday from 2:30, we're live in Derbyshire for a big playoff clash between Alfreton Town and Grimsby Town. Don't forget, of course, you can watch them via the BT Sport app, with all the details via their website at btsport.com. Monthe. away by Racine. Reminder, this result would take Southport 7 points clear of the drop zone. 4 more home games to play as well. Braintree are the next visitors. Barnet, Tamworth and Halifax have all got to come here yet. A couple of tough away games for Southport at Cambridge and Gateshead, and then Welling as well. Final change. See Scott Brown depart. And John Dillon, a 25-year-old who arrived in January from AFC Fylde, having previously been playing in Ireland, to come on for the final 3.5 minutes or so. Forest Green corner.
They've got to make it count now if they want to get back into the game.
Be a happy 43rd birthday for him at the moment on the journey back to the Cotswolds. Stokes with the corner over Racine, and then a woeful effort from Bangura.
I think that just sums up their evening, and on Lady Pennock's Day, Bangura had plenty of time to really just even get a strike on target, leaning back. Hasn't really hit that with any conviction, and I know he's not a natural goal scorer, but I think it really just sums up the night that Forest Green have had.
Right, round and Celia. The pull back to Taylor. What a block from George. There's a potential opportunity there for Matty Taylor. Inside the last 2 minutes. Danny Wright's flick. Green. Klukowski. Safely held by Hurst.
A comfortable save there from Hurst. Klukowski just making the run, but Celia and George have been, I think they've been monumentous tonight. George with 2 last-ditch tackles, which maybe could have saved a certain goal, but you want your big players to turn up, and the 2 centre-halves have been brilliant tonight against a good forward line.
Here's Wright. Racine. Forest Green free kick as we head towards the last minute of the 90. Southport deal with it comfortably. Sawi's clearance. John Coleman screaming at Southport to get out. Just sitting a little deep here. Bangura. This is Turley. Hugh's almost there. Right! Well, that was the opportunity. It's a corner to Forest Green.
There's a chance again. It's Turley with a good ball in, and it falls to Wright. And again, it's just Southport players throwing their bodies in the line to keep this clean sheet and a much-needed 3 points.
Every single player in that penalty area. That was the header from Ashodi, and he couldn't direct it on target.
So 3 or 4 times they've thrown players in front of the ball, and so they can't really get on the end of that one. Full credit to Southport tonight. I think they played well, and I think he'll be pleased with his team's performance. And again, a big team coming here and they haven't come away with anything.
Their 6th win in charge. It'll be a 5th consecutive home league victory for the very first time at conference level for Southport. Little landmark, and a very important one in terms of the bottom of the Skrill Premier table. Asawi. Southport know they're almost there. 5th win in 9 games, having won 4 in their last 8, having previously only won 4 of their previous 25 games. That's how big a turnaround it's been for Southport.
So since John Coleman's come in, he's just a bit of belief in the players, and you can just see tonight that they're just playing with a bit more confidence, and in front of goal, with the goals that they've scored, they've shown good confidence.
Here's right, strong challenge from Celia. Bangura, final few seconds now. Referee's had one check at his watch. In from Turley. Good defending again, this time by Daly. And that should be that. Bangura. Good take from Hurst. He'll take his time here. The fortress continues. 5 home league wins in a row for John Coleman and Southport for the first time in life in the conference. And it's a huge shot in the arm to their hopes of staying in non-league's top flight. Another one of the big boys are beaten here. 11 wins inside their home stadium. But for A.D. Pennock and for Forest Green, frustration and disappointment. And A.D. Pennock goes straight to the referee, Adrian Holmes, to ask him about the conditions. And the conversation between manager and officials continues. It's a setback in terms of Forest Green and their push for the playoffs, but a huge victory for Southport in their battle at the bottom. John Coleman has had such a positive effect since arriving before Christmas on this club. A man who's been there, done it, and got the t-shirt in this division. He loves his football, and he's loving this run of results at home for Southport. 15 points from the last 15, and this is what it means at the top half of the table. Forest Green unable to close the ground on the top 5. They thought they could go in the top 5 tonight. It is Braintree and Alan Devonshire who are the big movers, incredibly, into those playoff spots, and they've still only played 36 games. Nuneaton dropping out of the top 5 tonight. At the bottom, that is the big shot in the arm for Southport. 7 points clear of Aldershot now and the drop zone, and that dreaded bottom 4. Chester have slipped a place, and it is looking perilously for Hereford as well. So, big night for Southport. Let's rejoin Clem.
Well, I think you could see from those pictures just how annoyed A.D. Pennock was towards the end of the match. He and his backroom staff are right in the ear of the 4th official. Real concerns with the lightning coming across for the safety of his players. Didn't want to talk to me, tried to grab a word. He's a really lovely bloke, but he is really, really annoyed by that. We'll try and grab a word with him. We'll get the reaction of Mark Crichton of James Beattie in a few minutes' time.
Players have been fantastic, and obviously the results have come with it.
So much at stake. Strong challenge.
Good tackle there from Celia.
Stokes holding him up. O'Sullivan still got the cross in.
I don't think it's deliberate handball.
Hughes got goal side. Oh, and it very nearly crept in as well. Will Forest Green be punished? They're rescued. And he's got the cross in here. Oh, what a header! Carl Ledsham. And it's the team near the bottom who leads. Again for O'Sullivan. He's gone for goal! And it's a huge shot in the arm to their hopes of staying in non-league's top flight.
So clearly a very happy Southport dressing room. There is John Coleman holding court and a lot of very soaking wet players, and here we are, and well, not the 43rd birthday you were looking for, AD, and clearly as you came off there, very, very grumpy with the weather conditions.
I just obviously disappointed we lost. It's not sour grapes. I thought they scored 2 fantastic goals, to be fair. But I said, you know, that should have been abandoned. We had fork lightning halfway through the game. I think if the cameras weren't here, that would have been called off. I really do. You know, if your souls weren't here, I think that would have been called off.
Well, I'm not party to those discussions. On the other hand, at one stage, you seemed to be an animated discussion with the fourth official, and seemed to be threatening at one stage that you might remove your players from the pitch.
No. I'd never do that, because my only worry was the fork lightning coming down, and obviously, you know, it was a torrential rain, but the lightning was, you know, if it hit somebody, then. Brilliant. What are we going to do about it?
What did the fourth official say to you about that, Eddie?
He just said, well, it was, to be fair, bless him, he didn't say much. He didn't, you know, I just put my point over to him, and that was it. He said, well, he's the referee, and he got on with it. Obviously, it's a tough call by the referee, but at the end of the day, it's all about the spectators and the players on the pitch, their safety, and that, you know, we could have lost 15-0 today. I don't care about that. It's all about the safety of the players, and I honestly do believe if the cameras wasn't here, we would have gone off.
I think if you know, any manager, I take your point, it's a very valid one, and I'm going to make mine at the end of this. Any manager that would be 2-0 down would be having a go at the fourth in these officials, right? Now, if it was John Coleman, he'd be up, you were up, and but when the safety of the players is in question, then, you know, I'd be exactly the same as AD. You know,
the safety of the players, from your point of view,
lightning at a football match
today
is a very serious consideration.
Well, that's why the rules are set out, aren't they, in the first place? Yeah. Everyone was in potential danger. Get them off the pitch, and then you can always reassess it and give it 5 minutes and say, right, now we can't go back out there or whatever. He just carried on, and that's at his own risk. You know, like Eddie said, if something would have happened, on his head be it.
Yeah. And you know, just it's tough for the referee, you know, with the conditions, but. You know, even the 2 minutes at the end, I know I'm being a little bit picky, but, you know, with the rules are the 6 substitutions, 2 goals, there was injuries, and he put 2 minutes up. But maybe he's got a little bit colder.
What did he say to you? Because clearly you went to talk to him there. You were very angry at the end of the match. So what did he say to you?
Again, nothing really. Nothing to write home about. He just said, thank you very much, and that was it. So that's all. You know, it's tough for him. Like I said, if the cameras weren't here, that would easily been off. And it's not sour grapes, because I thought they scored 2 great goals. You know, and you know, this is an entertainment business, and if with the conditions, you know, it was flooded out there.
Did the scoreline make it difficult for him as well, though? Being 2-0, if it's 0-0, it's maybe a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously the home side as well, when they're 2-0 up, that is a tough decision. But it was fast scored out there, really, and you never know. You know, if we nick the goal out with half an hour to go, then. You just don't know, do you? You know, I thought you scored 2 goals in a couple of minutes.
Eddie, I can understand why you would say that to me, but I can honestly say at no point tonight, and I think anybody can see here, I've got an earpiece in and people talking to me all the time. At no point tonight have we placed any pressure. We've got no contact with the officials, so I take your point, but
no, I think that's the pressure on him, though. I think it's the pressure on him.
To not be seen to call a game off because it is on television.
I'm not saying BT Sport is saying, no, you've got to stay on. I think it's a pressure, because the cameras are here, it's a pressure on him to keep the game going. It's similar to Luton, wasn't it? You know, with Luton in the New Year's Day. You know, it was horrendous, and to be fair, that should have been called.
I think that was heavier today, Mark Crichton. You were with me that day. I think the rain was heavier today.
No, I don't think so. I think Luton was probably the worst I've seen. This is bad, and this, in my eyes, now he's not playable. If this had been pre-game, we wouldn't have had a game tonight. 100% wouldn't have had a game. I thought New Year's Day was a little bit worse.
Disappointed in your team's overall performance tonight, though?
Well, if they bought their flippers, they would have been all right, I think. But no, I'm not going to complain at all about it. They've been absolutely first class. They give it their all. Like I said before, Southport scored 2 great goals. I thought we should have been a little bit tighter, maybe obviously defensively, for stopping the cross and the shot. But I'm not going to have a go at my players. They've been absolutely fantastic. We've had game after game. So it's only 3 points before the game. You know, it's not the end of the world. So fair play to Southport. They've beaten us 2-0, and we move on.
Commiserations, you didn't have a happier birthday. We do appreciate you joining us so quickly. You can go and get yourself a towel or something now.
Thanks,
Eddie. Of course, guys, at the end of the day, it's the same for both sides, and Southport have had a tremendous second half, and their home form is sensational.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. That's 5 wins on the bounce at home, and as you say, the away form's not been too good. But if your away form's not too good and your home form's very good, like Southport's is, then you can stay up. You can get something out of a season, and that is, the first goal there. It's a fantastic header by Carl Ledsham. He's timing into it's a great ball in, and any centre forward. I know Carl's a midfielder, but he's timing into the box there. He's fantastic. Keeper's got no chance. It's past him before he's even dived.
Well, I tell you what, John Coleman, Southport manager, the legend has it, as a non-league striker, you scored about 500 goals as a centre forward. I tell you what, you've been proud of that one. That was a bullet.
Fantastic goal.
Just talking to that microphone.
Fantastic goal. I scored a million of them here. That was a fantastic goal. But Carl, what he's brought to the side since he come back in, he's got a steadying influence. You've only got to see the headers. He's only influence of the back four as well. And he's a smashing lad, and I'm made up for he's got the goal.
Yeah, you did have a bit of a scare when James Norwood went through and clipped.
It was a fantastic pass, by the way.
Yeah, unbelievable ball this from Busey. Yeah,
great ball and
good first touch, and he's done everything right.
That's your day, innit? That's your day when it happens. But we've had a similar chance in the first half, and I took John O'Sullivan for extra training. He came in early on Monday morning, and we were going through one-on-ones like that, and then he goes and does that.
Did he do much wrong there apart from not score?
No, he's
too clever.
He's seen not at all. I think he's seen the keeper come out, and he's tried to dink it over him, but he's just got a little bit too much on it, and then obviously the rebound is just a bit too far away from him.
John O'Sullivan at half-time, just before the second half started, was saying to me, did it look bad on telly, the one he missed in the first half? My, did he make up for it. What a goal this is.
Superb. The cost of the first goal was fantastic, but this is what he can do, and I've been telling everyone who listen how good a player he is. He's a great lad as well. He's got a great appetite for the game. He's willing to learn, and he's willing to put the shift in to improve his game, and he'll only get better, John.
And this is the experience that a manager like you has with the contacts you've got. You bought the boy and you've got from QPR on loan. There's the relationship with Blackburn that must have been developed over the years when you were at Accrington Stanley. And what a great asset to bring in. And then the polishing service for them, because the kid's been injured and come back and all the rest of it.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is, we've got to try and stay up, and you're going to use as many contacts as you can, and your knowledge of the game really, to try and get in players that can be physically strong enough for this level, and I think we've got that.
I thought your skipper was fantastic tonight.
Well, Scotty, he was carrying an hamstring, and we were a bit worried. We kept him on probably longer than what we should have, but he's that important to us. You're loath to take him out of there. He covers every blade of grass, and he's an absolute joy to work with.
Makes you tick, doesn't he? Keeps the ball well.
Fantastic footballer, and he's got a great balance. He's got a great turn of pace, and the appetite he shows in training, it rubs off on all the other players.
Yeah. One very quick answer I need from you. Adi Pennock, very unhappy, thought the ref should have called it off Lightning. Sympathy?
Not for Lightning. No, not
for
at
Lightning,
all.
not for you?
No, not at all, because we lost to Barnet earlier on the season. Well, 4 or 5 weeks ago, Thunder and Lightning. Possibly the pitch, but definitely not Thunder and Lightning.
Appreciate your hospitality today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to you guys. Live to Pitch follows us. Stuart Pearce is going to be with Des Kelly on the day in which he turned down a move back to his former club, Nottingham Forest. They'll also be joined by comedian Paul Sinha and the Spurs goalkeeper Brad Friedel to look ahead to the weekend's action. There'll also be a feature on Football Chance, and Embrace will perform live in the studio here. We've had Thunder, we've had Lightning, we've had a couple of cracking goals and a grumpy manager. Goodbye.